Okay, so in the last video, I showed you guys how to use this trial data to make a graph that really shows all of your data from all three trials, but we also would like a more simplified graph, one with just the averages. So I'm going to come over here to where I have my independent variable data, and I'm going to use Control C and Control V to just copy that. And then I'm going to take my averages of these trials. So like this row, my average would be 11. In this row, it's going to be close to 7. In the next one, it's 5 and 4, and then pretty close to 2. Of course, if you are actually doing the math out and want to include decimals, please feel free. But I'm just going quickly. So I'm not going to highlight this data because I already made a graph with that data. I'm just going to highlight this data right here. And again, I've got my numbers highlighted. I'm going to come up to Insert Chart. And it makes me this beautiful chart that just needs a little customization. So as you can see, it's much more simplified than my other chart because it's just the averages. And I just need to customize it. So I can either come over here to where it says Customize and come down to Chart and Axis Titles, or you can see I can just edit it right in here. I love that it already has the word average because that's a really important word that I want to include in my title this time. So I'm going to give it a very similar title to my last one, but I want to make sure that the word average is in there because it is an average. So this is the average effect of dissolved sugar on surface tension. And then over here, it already has that word average, which is great because this is the average amount of floating paper clips. Okay, so I've got a title for my chart. I've got a title for my y-axis. I need a title for my x-axis. So there isn't one there, so I can't just click into it. So that's where coming over here to the handy dandy customize section is where I'm going to click horizontal axis title, and I'm going to type it right under here where it says title text. I'm going to type just like I did before. This one's not an average, it's just the same. This is the amount of dissolved sugar. And remember, I measured that in grams. It is so important to, not rams, grams, to include your units. So if this was a unit other than paper clips, I would want to include my unit on that one as well. In my fake experiment, I only had one unit that I'm including because paper clips is its own little separate thing. Again, if you want to play around with font or size or color or grid lines, you can do that. So grid lines are these little lines that you see coming across the chart. You can get vertical ones, you can get horizontal ones, you can get more or less or none. It's up to you. Personally, I think the nicest charts have just the horizontal ones because it helps draw your eye across to the number. Like it's really easy for me to see that this is at 4 because I have that line. If that line wasn't there, you know, I'd have to work a little harder at it, but it's totally up to you. That's personal preference. Okay, so now I've made a graph with all three trials, and I've made a graph with my averages. And based on the experiment that I designed, that's it. Some of you guys might need additional graphs. Some of you guys might need different graphs. Like I said, if you think that you do, let's chat about that. But for most of you guys, this will be it. And again, you can just click in the white space. You can use Control C, Control V to paste this into excuse me, into a separate document. And then you can resize it and make it big and print it out and all that fun stuff.